Are you there? People of the world? People of the internet space? Are you there? Man, I was running late. Don't get me wrong. It was 9:01. Obviously, I wanted to be here at 9. And I went and clicked the button. Things were going well. And all of a sudden, everything crashed. What will that mean for you? I don't know. Maybe I'm not broadcasting on the right channel. That would be a problem. I guess I should look that up, eh? Let's do that. Nothing like starting the show and trying to figure out if you're even broadcasting. Let's see here. Okay, I'm here. I'm here. Oh, I didn't do that. I'm going to do that. I'm going to open this up. Okay. Why would I want to do that? I don't know. I don't know what to do. I mean, I had a massive. Okay. I'm good. Massive crash. Massive crash. And I'm wondering now, as I'm looking through my stuff, it looks like we're on. It looks like we're in the right spot. So that's good. Let me do it one more time. Sorry, I'm not talking. It's just when you see something just blow up right in front of you, you're like, what was that? Okay. Okay. It says we're going. It says it's working. Okay. Man. Okay. It just kind of screws up the flow of the show. Oh my gosh. So another thing I did, which was dumb, is, you know, those chocolate covered caramels? Well, they're very good. And so I had 2 of them sitting on my desk, and after it crashed, I was like, well, you're mine. I said that to the caramel, and then I ate it. And I don't feel any remorse, but hard to talk with chocolate covered caramel. Like right now, even a little bit of sea salt left. Oh, it was good. It was good. So what do we have today? What do I think is going to happen today with the show? Well, I don't know. When I was preparing for the show, I was like, you know, hey, we've got some knowledge we're dropping today. That's good. People like knowledge. And then I had the thing blow up. And now I'm kind of like, is that portend what's to come today in my work life? I definitely woke up this morning with anxiety. I have showings this evening. I have showings tomorrow. I have showings the next day. My colleague Jan wrote an offer last night. I was showing houses last night. We'll go over that. I just want you to see how far behind I am. I'm not proud of this. But I just want you to see it. I don't know. I'm going to put it in. Can you see this? Okay. These are all the houses I've shown that I have not gotten into my computer to know the status of them. So every house I go see, I keep the piece of paper, and then I go and I put it in the computer so I know what it's sold for, so that when people ask me that we're looking at the houses, when my buyers are asking me, I say, well, it closed on this day for this much. I haven't gotten to it in like a long time, and I need to get to it because it's going to be where some of the houses have actually started closing. Now, one of the bad things about that is as soon as the computer tells me when it's sold, I forget, and then it yells at me. The email yells at me about I have too many searches going at one time, and then it it kicks out the search automatically. I just don't like the email that says, you should fix this. I have major issues coming up in the live stream as far as real estate content, because unfortunately I've been busy, and I changed the settings on some of my news finders, and now it's like, that's not good. And I only found out about it, like, I've only really looked into it. I knew it was probably bad, but I just started looking into it like the other day. And so that's not good. I've made some changes. Hopefully that's not going to be so bad. The podcast today, boy, it would have been nice to have a subject before I start one. If I could get the live stream done, if I can get the podcast done, I got a shot today. But I made a list of things that I have to do every day, or that I should be doing every day, just for the marketing of Deerwood Realty in the public space. 31 things. Some of those things take, live stream takes an hour. Podcast takes at least an hour. There's like, I can see like 4 or 5 hours, just solid work, no matter what, every day. Not good. Not good. Very hard to be a real estate agent, real estate broker, and like on your own. Now, Jan helps me with showings. Jan helps me with anything I need, but I have to do all this on my own, and it's just like, ugh. Now, let's solve a problem right now. We got lots of stuff to talk about. Let me write it down, because I don't want to forget it. And I know I've done it before on a podcast or on a live stream where I'll think of something and I'll forget by the time I get to it. So, all right, got that done. Wife and I had a laugh, and I want to share it with you. Had a lot of laughs last night. All right, so see, I lost everything. I lost everything after I wrote that down. Gosh, you never expect that. You never expect that. Oh, so I'm busy, but I'm going into the busy season. This didn't happen last year for me. Okay, so we're in March. We're at the end of March. We're right where we should be. People should start looking at houses now that have kind of gone away. And it's absolutely true. The last week and a half, I've picked up my business considerably. Okay. Now, what does that do? Well, if I have to show houses a lot, that hurts my home showing ability, because it's like, it takes time. It hurts my ability to do anything else. I mean, so that's why I'm kind of falling behind on stuff. If you've been in the website lately, it's not updated, and that's bad. And I feel shame. Okay. Tomorrow, I'm not, a lot of times I have an opportunity, if I'm lucky and I don't collapse on the weekends, I have a chance to catch up sometimes, because I don't normally do podcasts. Although I'll be honest with you, if I do a podcast anymore, people watch it. They don't watch it right away. I don't understand this delayed thing for me, like why I'm forced to be in a situation where I get delayed. But I do get views on my stuff, and I'm enjoying it. It does keep you moving forward. It does keep you motivated. Boy, it took a long time. It took a long time. I was hurting. It was bad. And the same thing's going to be true with the live streams, and the same thing's going to be true with the Clips channel. I have to build it. It's hard. But what I wanted to say is, so yes, I'm busy, and yes, this is the way it's supposed to be, or at least that's the way it's been my whole career. January, February, I'm standing around saying this. I don't know what happened, and I do. It's seasonal, and then I want people to go buy houses during that time, because I think that there's great deals to be had. The unfortunate thing, or the problematic thing, is most people aren't listing a house at that point in time of the year, unless it's like an estate or they really have to go. And so the houses, the quality isn't exactly where I'd like it to be overall. So like if there's 100 houses during the spring, there's maybe 10 houses available during the slow time. And of those 10, maybe there's 4 that are decent. Whereas maybe there's 50 that are decent out of 100 in the spring. But we've got some real problems in the marketplace. We got some real problems. Rates have shot up at least 1 percentage point, in my opinion. I can't tell you the exact truth because I mean, they were at they moved so fast. They moved so fast that it was like, wow. Now, let me just say what I think will happen in the housing industry, in the marketplace, right in the intermediate time. So right now I'm showing buyers' houses, and there's still lots of people out there looking. Okay. But many of them may have gotten a pre-approval letter 6 months ago when interest rates were like 3.5% on a 30-year fixed. So they haven't even they're still operating on the basis of 3.5%, and we're probably sitting at 4.6, 4.7%. Big difference over 30 years in affordability. Okay. Now, sellers have been told for the past 2 years that their house is gold. Okay. And so they're just asking for the moon. Okay. And buyers are out there still buying. Like, they don't realize that interest rates have gone up. Or if they do, they don't care. They're still in a spot. But as evidenced by last weekend's bidding wars, I believe I saw a house. There's rumors that it is $90,000 over asking on a $350,000 house. Okay. So what's going on there? Well, someone has, they've got a mortgage or an appraisal that'll be like probably $80,000, $70,000 or $80,000 less. So they'll have to come to the table with cash. It's going to be tough. Now, let me say this as best I can. I don't know the value of cash right now. What I mean by that is you have your mortgage and it's more expensive. Okay. No question. In finance, $1 today is worth more than $1 tomorrow. That's just the basic idea of finance. I don't know if it's true. I don't care. I just know that's the basic foundation. So you're throwing $90,000 down now in cash. Are you indicating that you don't believe the cash is of great value? In other words, do you think that the $90,000 4 years from now is going to be worth zero? I don't mean zero, but what I mean is like less than what it is now, and you don't care. You'd rather have the fixed rate of what will be probably 4.5% or higher. This is a real problem. This is a real problem. When you have houses that aren't appraising and you're throwing cash at it, you're making severe ripples in the marketplace that may have consequences down the road. Now you say, what kind of, are they dire consequences, John? I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. It's bizarre. We definitely didn't learn anything from 2007 and 2010 other than what I learned. And that's if you fail miserably at owning a home, the government will come and bail you out. And then some people would say the government caused you to fail in the first place. I don't know the answer. I don't know. I really don't know. I've never seen anything like this. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. Should you be concerned? Well, are you concerned now? Are you not concerned? What is your position right now? If you're concerned, I guess you should stay concerned. If you're not, possibly think towards concern. And you could say, well, John, why? The housing market's just exploding. It's wonderful. It just keeps going up. Yay. There's this saying, I'm sure you're familiar. You give somebody enough rope to hang themselves with. Is that what we're seeing? Is this it? Is this the rope being given? The mania of buying houses over asking? I mean, in some ways, here's how I picture it in my mind. A bunch of well-to-do folks are sitting around their backyard campfire, their fire pit, and they've got their little antique lights outside, their string lights. They're drinking their craft beer. They're eating, they're vegetarian, of course, not eating meat. And they're talking about how, so-and-so at the office is, such a Neanderthal. And they hold these traditional views that are just outdated and outmoded, and everyone laughs. And then one of them says, yeah, people used to buy houses with a mortgage. Yeah. And now we buy them in cash, and we spend whenever someone's asking something, we're such ballers. Someone's asking $450 for a house. We'll just give them $500 because we're balling. We're just the best. I say this because I don't know anyone that would actually do something like that, but it's got to be happening. Scary. So do you have proof? No, I don't have proof. So anyway, what am I doing? I was thinking about writing an email to my buyers and just saying, look, the interest rates have gone up by a percentage point in the past month. We could say that safely. If you haven't had a recent pre-approval, let's get to your lenders and talk and get this ironed out to make sure that when you go in to buy a house, you can, and you're not stung by payments that you didn't anticipate. What I worry most is that my people that buy and that need to sell their houses are going to get beaten up on the buy side and then beaten up on the sell side. I worry about that because I don't want it to happen to them. They're good people, all of them. I worry about housing affordability. I have some young buyers, first-time home buyers that are just, we're in the threes to look at a decent house. That's not, they even have good jobs. And it's like 2 years ago, I guess 5 years ago, a $300,000 house was a mansion in St. Louis. It wasn't. I'm using a little bit of hyperbole. It wasn't a mansion, but boy, it was a nice house. Now it's dicey. So this is where I think I'm hurt by being in the real estate market for as long as I have been. When I can drive down a street and point out houses that I've shown on them and remember somewhat what they've sold for. And then I come back and it's 50, 75% more in 15 years. It's like, tough. It's tough because as a real estate agent, you have to operate on the basis of today. It's a tricky thing. Let me try to explain. Like when I go and write an offer for a house, when my buyers are with me and we're writing an offer, they are looking at it from the point in which they started. It could have been 2 years ago. It could have been the last month. That's how they see the marketplace. They don't see the marketplace as some sort of historic, like a book, if you will. A lot of times, some of the things that I've enjoyed most in my career is I have a fellow that didn't buy a house, or he was looking for a condo, and it was in a certain part of town, and he ended up not buying. And so over time, though, he kept looking at the listings, and over time, he pretty much found out every single condo in South County. Like he knows where every single one of them is. He knows what the prices are when they go for sale. He knows. He would be a great real estate agent to sell condos in South County. He's just got the knowledge just perfectly. But when we first started looking, he didn't have any of that information, and he was ready to write an offer on one thing or write an offer on another. And the particular units at the time weren't that great. Then he had some issues with his job. The thought that he might not have a job the entire time. So we kind of put it on the back burner, but it wasn't me saying you shouldn't buy his house. or I'm sorry, this condo. It was him and his position, and I was totally fine with it. But for very few buyers have that historical precedent now. Now, I say now, meaning, the time as of right now. You go and you say to your partner, wife, hey, let's go buy a house. And it's like, oh, yay, we've been looking at realtor.com for months, which is totally understandable, but it's not like you're not really in the game when you're looking at realtor.com or Zillow. I mean, until you have an agent, until you're physically looking at houses, until you're physically making an offer, you're not in the game. And so you get a warped perception of the marketplace. And so you go and you get in the marketplace, and then you maybe see a couple houses and they're terrible, and you're like, I could have had dinner with my wife at this point in time, and here we're looking at this terrible house, and like, I'm such a bad person because I picked this bad house. This choice is my fault. And it's not. That's number one. It's not your fault. You didn't personally make an error. Real estate agents are trying to sell you a house, so they put the nicest pictures up that they can. They may retouch the photos. They may price a home really, really low to get many people there. They're doing things to get you to the house. So don't you for a minute feel bad about, you going to the house. If you would only go to the perfect houses, I'd love to see it, because I've never met anyone that could do it. So anyway, you feel bad. You feel shame. Like, I looked at bad houses. I've wasted the realtor's time. Some people really do care about my time. Some people don't. I've wasted the realtor's time. I've wasted my time. I don't really like this. Let's just find a house at this point. Let's just settle on something and be done with it. Many, many buyers, I'd say 50% of the buyers that I work with end up just getting tired of the whole deal and just wanting to buy anything. I mean, they start from my demands are, I want a 2-car garage. I want a 3-bedroom home. I want 2 full baths. I want a fireplace. I want a finished basement with a walkout. I want all this stuff. And then by the time we're done, they're like, I'll take it. Whatever. It's like, well, this house is falling down. I don't care. It's overpriced. Please, let's just write an offer and be done with this. That's how it goes. That's how it goes. And it's funny to me, but anyway. It's not your fault. That's all I was going to say, I think. Okay, let's move on. I was rambling a bit. I wanted to talk about a house that I saw 2 nights ago, and I didn't talk about it yet. Went to a house with a friend, a client, and it was fascinating. It was a house that had been purchased in 2010. It was being used as a rental, and the seller was a slumlord. Okay, no question about it. And let me say this in a certain way. Slumlords exist. Okay, they're not good people. Okay, they take advantage of minority groups. Okay, take that for however you want. But I watch it happen, and they themselves can be minorities. Don't kid yourself. That's the part that makes me laugh. It's always white male bad. White male bad. Yeah. Go look at the property owners, the slumlords in St. Louis at least, and then tell me white man bad. Just saying. Anyway, let me go to this house. Been a rental. The house was built in like 1960. The stove was a built-in. The oven, and it was a double oven. It was a built-in, and they don't make stoves the ovens that size anymore. So you're toast there. The stove was the same stove. Okay. The microwave had been removed, but there was a box for where the microwave would go. Okay. So far we're in a kitchen that has not been touched since 1960. It's 2022. All right. So you go in the rooms, the front is hardwood. Every bedroom is carpet from Home Depot. Home Depot special, $75 a room, or $100. I don't even know what it is now. I don't even know. I need to look because it's the same carpet. I see it all the time. It's this brown shag. Maybe it's not called a shag, but that's what it is to me. That's what I'm naming it. And then, so you go there, and then the basement is going to be painted white and gray floor. And if they're concerned about the walls not looking very good, they'll put a wall up so you can't see behind it. And that's what this house was. They were so cheap that the locks had been destroyed on the house at some point. So they just took 2 pieces of wood, painted it gray, and like moved the doorknob over. The gutters on the house were patched. Not seamless gutters, they were patched at different places. Somebody literally cut them out, used pop rivets. And so what were they asking on this house? Oh, some stupid number. It was on the corner of a busy street. My buyer had a family. But what is my point? Wasn't investors selling into this market very smart, I think, because I think they're going to be able to buy stuff back cheaper in the future. But that was not a good house for the price. And they may sell it. Okay. But I think what struck me as you've sat on that house for 10 years. You've done nothing to it. And then you ask a premium for it. And it's like, I mean, the roof was 20 years old. It's going to need to be replaced. Backyard was terrible. And this is what goes right now for the market. That house is going to sell. It's terrible. But it's this like, it's like limited repairs, and you guys know better. Like Slumlord Guy knows exactly what sells houses. Okay. So they do these, they do these limited repairs, and that's supposed to make it better. And I'll tell you, the best real estate quote unquote investors to me are the ones that can go into a house, stabilize it. Okay. Get it to where it'll sell to some other investor and walk away with like 20,000 in your pocket and not having done anything. I think it's if you're the one that's buying a house and the second guy, you're an idiot, because why are you taking all that risk? I don't know. This is just stuff we can talk about here. You and I. Showing report from last night. I'm glad you asked. So I showed houses in, I would say, Brentwood, and where's the second one? Where are they going to say it is? Webster Groves. House in Brentwood. There's Brentwood Avenue, Brentwood Road, off of Marshall. It's a weird spot. It's very industrial along Brentwood. At this particular area. Then you go. There's a big train track. This house was in the back there. Old house. Okay, 3-bedroom, 1 bath. I believe at like $270 asking price. 3-bedroom, 1 bath, 2-car garage in the back, but you got a shared driveway with someone else, and there's a hill. House was pretty, but again, you're right next to a train. I don't think a train is charming, by the way. I really don't. When I wake up, I mean, we have a train that's like a quarter of a mile or maybe a half a mile away from our house. And when that thing is going at night at 2:00 in the morning, I can hear it. I can hear the engine. And they don't oftentimes blow the horn, but I just hear it. I hear it, and it's loud, and I'm really far away. So anyway, if it were maybe a block from my door, it would shake the house. For one of the first times ever, the buyer that I'm working with, he lives next to a train now, and he's like, I hate it. He's renting, but he's like, I totally hate it. Most of the time I tell people, hey, we're right next to a train. This is going to suck. And they're like, oh, no, it'll be fine. And I'm like, it's going to suck. Anyway, so the house, walk in, it's staged. Every house we saw last night was staged. They want us to take our shoes off, no problem. There was someone else there at the time. They maintained their distance, which I appreciate. By maintaining, like, look, I don't want to show the house with you in it, and you don't want me to be in here with your buyer either. Like, we get it, like both of us. So why don't you go in one part of the house and I'll go to another? And most houses, I've got an upstairs, a middle floor, and a downstairs, and we can pretty much just almost act as if we're not even in the same place. So we went through the first floor. There was a small bedroom on the right. Go further. The bathroom was at the end of the house. There was a small kitchen, which led to the basement stairs. So we decided to go to the basement first. So we go down in the basement. Always stupid to go. As a real estate agent, as a buyer's agent, one of the dumbest things I ever feel like I do is we go to the basement first. I go to the basement first because that's where all the problems are. Once somebody goes to the basement, they're like, I'm not buying this house. Doesn't matter what it looks like upstairs. I think smart agents go around the top of the house and try to sell the house and then minimize the disaster that's the basement. But anyway, we went. On the disclosure, it said the wall was buckling. That's never good in the basement. And that it had been repaired, lifetime warranty transferred with the house. So we looked at the wall and it was in fact bowing. And this was interesting. They had, I've not seen this particular repair before. They had, I've seen I'll call them Kevlar straps. I've seen that before, but I've never seen Kevlar straps to where like you use one of those ratchet straps and put it into the house up at the top, underneath I can't remember the word because between the floor joists, I want to call it like a band board, which would not seem like a great long-term solution to me. But you know what? I'm not an engineer and I don't fix basements for a living. All I know is if my buyer sees a house that has a crappy basement that's been repaired or one that isn't crappy and doesn't need repair, we're going to go with the one that isn't crappy. That's that. So we walked around the house a little bit, went up to the second floor. Second floor was very nice, but there was no bathroom. And so you'd have to run downstairs to the one bathroom in the house, which is fine if you're a young single fellow. But if you start acquiring children and family members, it's probably not so great. Then the second house we went to, 5 minutes away, not that far. That was in Webster Grove. Small house. I liked it. Okay. But what I would say about that house is the basement was half finished with a bedroom, and the bedroom was it was an egress window. It wasn't a walkout. And I would just say that the house was not that big. It was also a 3-bedroom, 1 bath. The third being in the basement. And you're in the basement, so you're in the basement, and the bedroom is small. No criticism of the people, but small, and you have to use the bathroom. You have to run upstairs every time. So it shouldn't really be a bedroom. That's what I'm saying. Not as a complaint. Then they built a nice little area for your. They had redone the stack and everything, but anyway, I would prefer a big. I know. I would prefer if it was a 2-bedroom home, 2 big bedrooms, 1 bath on the main floor, and the basement just be for storage. I don't need another quote unquote bedroom. I don't need to pay for a bedroom that isn't really slick, isn't really where I want to be. So that's the showing report. I think what we'll do, I'm kind of running late already. I get into a flow. This first part of the show is bad. I've tried to do things differently. I've tried to get better at it, but it's just been, always. I apologize. Oh, by the way, those of you who are watching late at night, like I saw somebody who's watching at like 4 a.m. yesterday. Thank you. I think my show is best consumed between probably midnight and 4 a.m. Anyway, let's go on to the Google search today. Oh, got one more thing. Wife and I have a friend that became a real estate agent. She's a smart girl, no question. looked her up on Facebook last night just to see how she was doing. She, in her marketing, says she's now accepting clients in certain parts of town. We both had a good laugh. My wife was an agent for about 6 months. But then I've been an agent for a number of years. And anyway, what was funny to me was now accepting clients. This lady's now accepting clients. As if to say she's so busy, but she will accept you as a client. And it makes me laugh because I've never met any agent that isn't now accepting clients unless they're like dying. And then they should probably post that ahead of time. Like, I'm sick. I'm getting out of this. Goodbye. Now accepting. I've never, ever used that in my marketing. Now accepting clients. What? Now accepting clients? Anyway, it's the marketing goal is make yourself look like you're so busy and so like you're a dentist or something, or you're a doctor. Ridiculous. I feel bad for her because, like, my life, how should I put it? My life didn't go in the direction that I was aiming. She had a great job, and she can get any job she wants to. And instead, she's messing around as a real estate agent. It's like, this is dumb for you. You don't need to be doing this. You don't know what you're doing anyway. Don't get involved in this. And you say, well, she can make all this money doing real estate. No. She can make a lot more money doing what she was doing before. It's actually kind of a joke. I'm pretty surprised. Okay. Anyway, I'm accepting clients. Now accepting. All right. So let's get into Google search. Now I'm going to switch it over for you because that's what I do. Now, I don't know anything about this, but I thought that this would be newsworthy. It says there were 50,000 searches as of this morning about this Apple Watts. So what is this about? Oh, excuse me. I went to the wrong thing. It says, Love and Hip Hop's Apple Watts is in critical condition. What happened? And it was written by Priti Honore. That's what it says. It says, born Jantel Lafayette Watts, Apple Watts made her Love and Hip Hop Hollywood debut in season 5 in 2018. As we learned, Apple got her start in the entertainment industry as an exotic dancer, but she later gained popularity as a video vixen, appearing in music videos alongside rappers like Future. It wasn't long before she adopted the pseudonym Ms. Applebottom. The 36-year-old mother of two has stirred her fair share of pots in the past. During her time on LAHH, which is Love and Hip Hop, she uncovered major family secret and severed ties with her father after a DNA test gone wrong. Now, I don't really know what that means. I don't know. Following the show's hiatus, I don't know if that works. But anyway, she came under fire after going live on Instagram while seemingly under the influence. Given her previous history of alcohol abuse, the clip understandably concerned fans, but on March 24th, she made headlines for a very different and very scary reason. Well, this is compelling. It says news outlets reported that the reality star had been severely injured and could potentially be on life support. What happened to her? Here's what we know. What happened to Apple Watts? As confirmed by Apple Watts' sister, she was involved in a horrific car accident with a diesel truck while traveling from Los Angeles to Las Vegas. The Shade Room reported Apple's car flipped multiple times. As a result, she was ejected from the window and now is in critical condition, though the details of the collision are still unclear. Toxic Diamond, spelled different, took to her YouTube page to shed some light on what transpired. According to her, it's her friend, Apple's friend. I was like, who is this? Apple took a trip to visit her sister and got upset when their mother showed up to join them. She explained in the video that she wanted to leave. It says, so I don't know if that was a situation where she wanted to hurry up and leave. Maybe she was just driving too fast. I don't know. All I know is she told me that she just didn't want to be in the environment that she was in. Following the accident, Apple Watch is reportedly unresponsive. Here's an update on how she's going. Now, this is sad because this friend, we don't know what the issue is. It says the LAHH star suffered a broken spine after her car accident with a diesel truck. TSR also confirmed that Apple had a broken spine, shattered arm, and a fractured skull as a result of her collision. The report stated as of now, Apple is still unconscious. After news of her accident broke, LAHH castmates took to social media to share their condolences, including Hazel E. and her on-screen BFF Lyrica. God, I am really feeling a way right now. This really brought my day down, Lyrica wrote on Instagram. Apple, we are praying for you. Please pull through, baby. Damn, life is so crazy. Even Summer Bunny, who previously had beef with Apple in season 6 of LAHH, Love and Hip Hop Los Angeles. Love and Hip Hop Hollywood. Love and Hip Hop Hollywood posted words of encouragement. Apple, your tough mamas pulled through. In addition, fans of the rapper. Now, I did not know she was a rapper. I thought she, I don't know, have taken to social media for her, to offer their sympathy. Since the accident, Apple's fan page has been flooded with prayer hands and Apple emojis. Huh. Fan page. It looks like it goes to Instagram. I'm not going to click on it because God only knows what's on there. So that's what happened to Apple Watch. That's why she's got 50,000 searches trending on Google. Apple Watch. Let's look at some houses. I don't think there's a good way to transition from a serious accident to real estate, but we just did it. We just made the transition. Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I've got a problem after this. I've got to come up with another place to look at luxury homes. I've run out of my list. And as we've seen on many of those houses, like they're not selling in the first 6 months. And I do a live stream every day, mostly. So I run through, 100 cities in 100 days. And some of these houses don't sell for years. So I got to either increase my list or figure out what houses I've shown before. And I don't know how to do that. We got a problem. That's all I'm saying. Literally tonight, this afternoon, I'm going to write the notes for tomorrow's show and I'll have nowhere to go. It's like we're going to be looking at homes and I don't know. Now, I love Colorado. Love Colorado. Love it. Now, there's 4 places in Colorado that I would look that aren't big cities, but they're like vacation cities. What I'm going to do probably is look up a new list of vacation cities. I don't know. Anyway, $14 million, the first one, 5 bedrooms, 6.5 baths, 25,000 square feet on a 15-acre lot. I'm sorry, 14.5. My fault. What do we got here? 64 days on the market. Property details. Oh, too much. Too much. Property history. Listed in 2020. 14 million. They're just convinced that's the number. 2 years, still 20 million, or still 14 million. 50 pictures. I like that. That's interesting, right? Oh, there's a lake. Is it like just a gate? It's a house with a big old gate. Oh, look at that pool. That's nice. And you say, well, John, why are you asking questions? You could just literally go down and look at the description, but I don't want to. This is interesting. There's the pool. And it has a little edge there. I was looking at, maybe I was dreaming, but I was watching something and the guy's like, I don't want a deep pool. It wasn't my friend, I don't think. Well, it was him, but the day before something, I'd been looking at pools and they were like maybe a foot deep is the deepest they were. I don't know if I'm like, he said, I don't want a pool that is higher than my head. So he's probably 6 feet. And he's like, I want a pool where I can play like volleyball in the pool. And I don't know. I'm not a pool expert as far as design. I don't know if there's a lot of pools out there like that. Most of the pools I've gone to in my life are not private pools. So, like the hotel pool, I think they have like a 10-foot section or an 8-foot section. I don't know. But he's thinking about building a pool. And if he builds a pool, he can have it however he wants. The only thing I'm thinking of is if you buy the pool after him, first of all, he doesn't have to disclose the depth of the pool. And if you're like me and you're like, hey, I finally bought a house with a pool, and the first day you go there and you're walking and you never ever, and it's like 3 feet deep, I think you're going to be upset about that. So if I ever do list a house with a pool, I'm going to tell people, look, this is the depths of the pool. I'm going to put it online. Mark my words. It's really weird in St. Louis. People either want to buy a house with a pool or without a pool, but there's no like, I'll take a house with a pool. No. It's like, I am going to do this or I'm not. There's no in between. Let's get rid of that. Okay. So let's look at some more pictures. So that's the entrance. I'm sorry. Oh, I love that entrance. We saw that entrance yesterday and the beautiful staircase was off to the left. You couldn't even really see it when you walked in. It was not so good. It's very white. Look at all those chairs at the island. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people could sit at the island. That's pretty impressive. Wine cellar. There's the elevator. Thank you for that picture. I do like a good elevator. Oh, there's a theater room and it's huge. There's the outdoor space. You know what I was going to do, honestly, on this one? I was going to criticize the fact that there was no outdoor space. And that houses today, especially $1 million homes, need space. And there they did it. Congratulations. Beautiful. All right. 14 million seems like a bit much, but what do I know? 6.9 million on your second home, 4 beds, 5.5 baths, 8,000 square feet, 6-acre lot. I do like the big lot on that 14-acre lot. I think that's nice. All right. 61 days on the market, 3-car garage, 36 pictures, property details. Good. I got ghosted the other day and I was sad from one of my buyers. I was like, what did I do? I just got the text. And I told you yesterday that I need to turn the phones over. I didn't charge my personal phone, and my work phone I used to get the code for YouTube. And so I shouldn't have left them up, but I did. 36 pictures. Ooh, that's pretty. That's nice. I like that. I mean, look at that. You got that open space there. Big kitchen and high ceilings relative to what we're used to seeing. And of course the hood, the stove hood, I don't know what, I know why the word's escaping me, but it's over here on the wall. So it doesn't look stupid in the middle, and that's why you can have the high ceilings in this room. This is a nice house. I could live here. Could live in this house and I could be okay. It's like a 3 seasons room. Now, what we don't see, we're picture 20 in, we don't see that outdoor space. I don't know what that is. Is that a tap? Is that a beer tap? I don't know. I mean, do we have to have all these things like this? What is this for? Is it wasted space? Oh, I don't know if this is a, I mean, it looks like this might be an elevator shaft, but I don't know. There's a beautiful pool right there. It does have an outdoor space, and it's big. It's big. And a pool house and a fireplace. I like this this area here. That is nice. I want one of those for the house. I'm going to have to talk to my wife. I'm going to have to talk to the county. And it's like, can I have this? Okay. $4,900. $4,900. 4.9 million, 5 bedrooms, 5.5 baths, 9,000 square feet on a 1 acre lot. Now see there, I mean, 14 acres is more expensive than 6, which is more expensive than 1. Okay. 25,000 square feet is bigger than 8,000 square feet, which is not bigger than 9,000 square feet. But I mean, it kind of follows. And then this one, geez, the next one is ridiculous. 50 pictures, 62 days on the market, built in 1996. Property details, too much. I don't care. Property history listed 2022. That's fine. No issues so far. It's got a gorgeous outdoor space. I don't mind showing the outside of the house first. I think that's totally reasonable. What I don't like is when you take me inside and outside and inside. And now the only thing is this a pool or is this like a koi pond? I'd like to know. See, this has got a style that I don't see very often, at least not in St. Louis. So I'm kind of drawn to it because it's different. See, there's the range hood. See, I remember it now. But if you put it in a place where the ceiling is really high, it doesn't make any sense. I was just pointing that out in contrast with the other house. Very interesting. All right. That was it. Let's go and just look real quick at that other house because what am I doing here? Oh, good Lord. Well, forget it. You know what? I bet it was a nice house. We're not going to find it because I'm not going to. I have to get to articles and then I have to get out of here. I have to check the chat. No one's in the chat. Oh, you can see my little mouse go there? The little pointer? Good. Okay. Get rid of that. Let's get into our articles. First is from Realtor.com, and I thought this was in relation to the narrative that says people have moved out of the cities and they're moving to more affordable places. I've also looked at it as we've seen articles that say people are sad that they moved out of the cities and they're trying to move back into the cities. I don't know, but I just wanted you to know that that's where I was kind of looking at this. This was the context. This was my thinking behind selecting the article. Let's get into it. It says, as home prices soar, here are the cheapest places in America to buy a home. Well, I'd like to know what that. It says, buying a home is so many things: a rite of passage, a critical way to build equity and generational wealth, a thrill, a minute, adventure rise, and an American dream. But for many wannabe homeowners, it's becoming something else. 2, a struggle, big time. Absolutely. Across the U.S., and by the way, I don't know if it's a critical way to build equity and generational wealth. I really don't. I mean, if you bought a house in St. Louis City, say in like Holly Hills or something like that, I mean, it's probably a small house, and you're probably selling that house to someone else within a generation. And I just don't see that. I just don't see that, because you almost always have to buy another house. So any money you do make just goes right to the next house. Anyway, across the U.S., soaring home prices have been further pushing the dream of home ownership out of reach for many. And as the booming real estate market shows few signs of slowing down, it's easy for first-time buyers to feel like they'll never escape a life of renting. Well, what about agents? We feel like we'll never escape a life of showing houses without offers being accepted. Traditional starter homes seem to all but have disappeared in many large markets. From New York City to Nampa, Idaho, prices continue to rise to new heights, with the median list price hitting a whopping $392 in February, $392,000. That number has grown every week since 2020, as the inventory of available homes for sales has shriveled to historic lows, and now mortgage rates are inching up. If they're not inching, they're up. Now that so many of the places we were dubbed the next affordable city are no longer so affordable for the folks who don't bring in hefty six-figure salaries, where did the budget-conscious buyer go? Fortunately, there are still some relatively affordable parts of the country, and the data from Realtor.com search high and low to find them. In these markets, home prices are headed north too, but there are still plenty of deals to be had. Okay, and says our top line findings: if it's cheap real estate you're seeking, go to the Midwest, young man or woman. Unsurprisingly, there are no states west of Kansas that made our most affordable list. The inexpensive locales that did make it onto our rankings have mostly experienced decades of population decline, resulting in more homes for sale or even abandoned. That's led to a larger housing inventory that throughout most of the country. So buyers can take a bit more time to decide on the right property. I don't know that that's true, and there's not as much pressure to offer more than asking price. I don't know if that's true. Anyway, most of these places have economies historically tied to manufacturing, agriculture, and they haven't been overtaken by tech bros with high salaries. So they haven't seen major price inflation of popular tech hubs like Denver or Austin. It says these areas have lower median incomes, lower costs of living, helping keep prices lower. These metros also have largely been spared rising housing costs from an influx of remote workers who have typically sought out mountain and beach destinations. That's right. That's absolutely right. So it says to come up with this list, our data scoured the 250 largest metros in February to find the places with the lowest median home prices. To keep it diverse, the team limited the picks to just one metro per state. Metros include the main city and the surrounding suburbs, towns, and smaller urban areas. You know, so like if somebody were saying, I want to live in St. Louis City, but then I moved to Afton, I mean, that doesn't really work for me. So we'll have to see how this goes. Okay, you ready? So Peoria, Illinois. Have you been to Peoria, Illinois? I have. Home prices in this city along the Illinois River has been rising, but not as astronomically in places like Miami or Boise. Okay, so I've been to Peoria. Terre Haute, Indiana. Oh, it's home to Indiana State. That's number 2. Anyway, 3/4 of the houses here were built before 1960, and many require serious repairs. Thrown a declining population, and the city has realized it needed to take action to turn things around. The See You Here in Terre Haute 2025 community plan aims to improve economic development, quality of life, and tourism in order to bring residents back and encourage students to stick around after graduation. In neighborhoods like Farrington's Grove, buyers can find stunning historic homes, such as this updated 3-bedroom asking $164,900, or a completely redone Tudor-esque 4-bedroom for $310,000. Saginaw, Michigan. Like a lot of Michigan auto towns, Saginaw has been losing population since the 90s. Over a decade alone, number of residents have decreased by 4.6%. Layoffs at a 100-year-old General Motors plant last year have led to an unemployment rate nearly 2 percentage points higher than the national average of 5.7%. And with about a third of the residents living below the poverty rate, it's hard for the people here to come up with a down payment. But for folks who want to live in a historic river town at a reasonable cost, there are plenty of nice homes on the market, including this 1930s Mediterranean-style 3-bedroom asking $225,000. Okay, here's what I would say to that, not as a criticism. I personally lived in Detroit, Michigan for at least 8 years. And I can't remember really how long it was, but I'm pretty sure it was 8. And everyone there that had worked for the auto company for their entire lives had money. So things were more expensive to me than other places. That was in Detroit. Now, when you buy a home, do you care about the illusion of equity building in your home just by you living in it? And what I mean by that is if you like, there's in the stock market, they say, don't catch a falling knife. If a place is losing population, ask yourself, why is that? Is it government policy? Is it crime? I mean, what is the reason why a city is losing its population? And then be careful. Be careful. And my story to you will be this. Kwame Kilpatrick, the mayor of the hip hop mayor of Detroit, was going to bring Detroit back. And that didn't work out so well. He ended up in jail. And like, you have to have this enthusiasm or this positivity to lead a city out of the doldrums. There's no question. But as I've found kind of in St. Louis versus, say, Denver, you're competing on different planes, or even Chicago. I mean, there's better places out there, okay, that just have you beat by the weather alone. And so you really need to keep that in mind. Like, there may never be a reason to go back to Saginaw. Now, I'm not trying to rip on Saginaw. I'm just saying, the houses may be cheap now. They may get even cheaper. I mean, not a criticism, though. Youngstown, Ohio, if you watch that J.D. Vance movie, that was impressive. Youngstown has shrunk in population, but that hasn't stopped the real estate market from going gangbusters like the rest of the country. Prices have been rising and bidding wars are commonplace. However, what differentiates this former steel town from just about everywhere else is a combination of decent quality homes and ultra affordable prices. Davenport, Iowa, Quad Cities. When there isn't something drawing outsiders to town, locals in this growing metro can often be saw strolling and cycling through its numerous parks and green spaces, hanging out at craft breweries, or doing other community center activities. Okay. Charleston, did I miss one? Erie, Pennsylvania. I don't want to live in Pennsylvania. Charleston, West Virginia. Capital West Virginia. Home of the University of Charleston and West Virginia State University. Plenty of young people and events that cater to them. However, since many don't stick around after graduation, older homeowners are relocating to be near family or warmer climates, the population is on decline. I mean, that's a narrative. I don't know if it's true. Utica, New York. My wife has family in Utica. Macon, Georgia. New homes were going up in the South at warp speed before the construction industry was mired in recent supply chain problems. One that continues to see plenty of newly constructed abodes in the market is Macon, about a 90-minute drive from Atlanta. It isn't exactly flourishing, but it's not a wasteland either. There are high-end restaurants downtown, orchestras, and museums, including one dedicated to Southern rock icons, the Allman Brothers. Now, how that ended up in that article is pretty fascinating. Topeka, Kansas. The area is home to Fortune 500 companies like AT&T and Goodyear, as well as Mars, the company that makes Skittles and M&Ms. But where do they manufacture them? Out-of-state buyers, investors, and folks from nearby Kansas City are also being lured here by plentiful housing deals. All right. I don't know. Did any of those places make you want to move there? I'm just asking. It's not a criticism of those places. I'm not moving to a city if I'm out of St. Louis County. I mean, I'm not moving to a populated city. I'll move outside of one, but I'm not doing that. One more article. Seller's disclosure. What does a seller have to reveal? Well, I don't know. Oh, wait a minute. Maybe I should. I'm a real estate agent. Okay. If you're making an offer on a house, one of the first things you'll get as far as documentation is property disclosure. This is also referred to as a property disclosure statement, a real estate disclosure form, and a home disclosure. The specifics vary by state, but most states require some type of seller disclosure. The goal is to add transparency to the transaction process. In a disclosure, a seller provides written information about known things that could impact the property's value. Termite damage or leaky roof. The disclosure will also include details like the homeowners association fees and restrictions. These documents are meant to provide sellers with a comprehensive, I think that should be buyers. Provide buyers with a comprehensive overview of the property before buying it. That's how I would do it. Anyway, on the seller side, the disclosure has the benefit of helping them avoid future lawsuit if a new owner discovers hidden information. And that's the key, hidden. You can live in a house and not know what's wrong with it. You're not an expert. I'm not saying lie on the seller's disclosure. I'm saying be very honest, but be so honest that it's like you don't know because you're not, I had a joke, but it was so off color that I'm not going to say it. The basics says the seller typically fills out a standard disclosure form with yes or no questions about their property. The form will also have a space for more details and explanations. Some states have multiple versions of a disclosure form that comply with state law. A real estate agent should fully understand the legal requirements for disclosure. If you're a seller, your listing agent will provide you with the right documents that you fill out. Your agent should help you go through the completing forms if you're a buyer. The disclosure isn't a replacement for a home inspection, but it might bring to light issues that you have an inspector take a closer look at. Disclosures only require sellers to share the issues with the house that they're aware of. There's still the potential for there to be hidden problems, and that's exactly right. Let's just say, well, what do you mean, John? Well, you could have, you could put on say you had a roof leak. You say, I had a roof leak. We fixed the roof leak. Okay? And as far as you know, it was fixed. Then the inspector comes and he notices that there's water trickling through some wood framing, and it's all rotten. Well, you didn't know that. You didn't see it. There's no evidence of that anywhere that you saw. It's like, what are you going to do? Only if you knew that there was a problem or you're in trouble. Disclosures only require sellers to share the issues with what they're aware of. See? A purchaser will have a deadline for sellers to provide disclosures and details on a number of ways a buyer has to review them. Then the offer should have the details on the buyer's right should change there or back out based on the disclosure. That's probably true. What's included? Leak or roof problems, previous flooding or water leaks in the basement, foundation cracks, issues with the air conditioning, heating, or plumbing systems, defects in doors, floors, walls, or windows, sewer or septic system problems, infestations by wood-destroying insects or damage, unsafe conditions related to lead, asbestos, or radon, boundary disputes. I think those are all reasonable things to disclose. It says, while most disclosure guidelines are set at a state level under federal law, if you're selling a home before 1978, you have to disclose that paint may be lead-based. 1978 is the year lead-based paint was banned for consumer use. A seller of a home built before 1978 could also give the buyers an EPA pamphlet. Yeah. A seller of a home built before 1978 would also have to give buyers an EPA pamphlet about protecting their family from lead in the house and give buyers 10 days to do a paint inspection or risk assessment for lead-based paint. Let me tell you how often that happens in my market. Never. It's like, oh, this house could have lead-based paint. Okay. If you, in this market, were to require a 10-day inspection to do paint inspection, you would not have your offer accepted. If you're a buyer, you may feel a little overwhelmed by the seller's disclosure. And again, this is where your good agent can help you. Hey, if you aren't sure about anything, don't be afraid to ask. One issue to watch for is mold or water damage. Termite damage is another red flag if termites aren't taken care of. it can significantly impact a home structure, and homeowner's policy won't cover this damage. So let me just say this. Let's say you had termites and you have been using a termite company to get rid of the termites. So you say, we have maintenance, termite maintenance. Okay. That's it. That's it. You don't know if there's termites that are currently in your home. You don't think so because you have the service. But let's say they did some damage where you don't know where it is. Can you disclose that? No, because you don't know. That's key. You have to know to disclose it. So many people, so many buyers get so upset. You didn't tell me about this problem. They didn't know. And then you say, well, we're going to sue you. Okay. Now you go to court. Prove that they knew that there was a problem. Okay. How are we going to do that? Well, there will be receipts, or they talk to a friend or something. Now, I'm not a lawyer. I'm just saying, like, it's very hard to go that direction. And so what I would say is have a solid home inspection if you're a buyer. Don't waive the home inspection, okay? And then don't believe that the seller's disclosure is perfect. What could be problematic for you may not be problematic for someone else. For instance, if you're allergic to cat or pet dander, and they wrote that they had a cat in the house 10 years ago, and you move in and all of a sudden you swell up like a pumpkin, I mean, that's kind of on you. You read that they had a cat. Now, if they had a cat as late as like a week ago before they moved out, then you've got an issue. I don't know. Some states require that sellers identify if their property is part of a FEMA designated floodplain. If this isn't required in your state, you should look into it independently. Absolutely. Absolutely. Finally, caveat emptor is Latin for let the buyer beware. In real estate, this means that it's up to the buyer to be fully aware of any issues with the home. It is, but it's within the context of norms. And so if you are crazy, and I mean that, if you're crazy, if you are that person that asked for repair of a light socket faceplate, an electric faceplate that costs $1 at Home Depot, you're an idiot. I don't like you, and that's all there is to it. If the disclosure laws in your state don't require the seller to mention something, you have to figure it out on your own. So, like, what I would say about that is sometimes if someone, if you got murdered in the house, someone got murdered, you don't have to disclose that in St. Louis and Missouri, but people might want to know. So you might want to look that up on Google. If a house is haunted, again, don't have to disclose it. Should you? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if you should or not. I don't know if you think. What if you own a house and you think that the friendly ghosts are friendly, and you don't really think they're real because you don't believe in that kind of stuff, and then the person that buys a house is like, oh my God, these ghosts are scary. Oh, that's a problem. That's a problem, I guess. I don't know, something to think about. Anyway, the only times you would have recourse as a buyer is if the seller intentionally sought to defraud you. That's right. In general, it's up to the buyers to have a home inspected and follow up on issues before the transactions go through. Now, how many stories have we had during this booming real estate market where buyers waived the inspections entirely, and then when they moved in, found that, the house wasn't really great? I had this one article. I think they were in Iowa, and there was a retaining wall, and they had a retaining wall and they thought they fixed it, the sellers, and then it collapsed again when the new buyers bought it. And the buyers are going after the sellers, and it's like the sellers thought they fixed it. And then the buyers were like, well, we're going to go after the company that put the wall in. And it's like, well, I don't know that that's going to work either. But I'm not a lawyer, so I wouldn't know these things. I can't. I just don't know. But anyway, I thought that was an interesting article. And so here we go. Just like that, an hour's gone. Hour and 14 minutes. I have lots to do, and I'm live streaming because I like it, and I'm live streaming to no one. It's sad. So come along with me. Come on and chat, come on, watch some stuff. Enjoy yourself. Enjoy yourself. That's what I'm going to go with today. I've got everything set up for tomorrow, 9 o'clock. Going to be busy again. We'll have a showing report. Thank you for watching. I was going to do the outro to my podcast, but I'm not. I will talk to you.